So love is my favorite four-letter word. I have decided it is my favorite one. I knew nothing about love when I came into this church.
Wow.
I knew nothing. You people taught me what love was. All of you, every single one of you taught me what love was. I was an addict. I came in as an addict. I was still using when I came in. I had no idea about love. Nothing. I was self-centered, selfish. I was hoping you'd fail. I was really hoping you would fail. And I remember the only reason I showed up at this church was to shut somebody up. Because they kept begging me to come and check out the Seventh-day Adventist Church. I showed up on a Saturday afternoon, and I went downstairs, and everyone was having potluck. And everyone stops talking and stops eating and stares at me. And I'm like, and then Bob Lima put his cane up and started waving it at me to come. So I came over to him. All of a sudden, there's a chair next to him empty. And I sat down and I started telling him that I really didn't want to be there, that I wasn't happy where I was, but I hated here. And Ruthie interrupts me and says, Did you like something to eat? Natalie, do you want something to drink? And I'm like, who are these people? And so, and we talked for a long time that day, and he urged me to come back. And I left there still thinking. I didn't know what I was thinking. But I showed up on a Friday night for Vespers, and I sat out in that parking lot, and I wouldn't come in the building because I didn't really want to. And I'm arguing with my friend on the phone. I didn't want to come in. Jim came out to the parking lot. He came to the car door. And thank God he didn't say, what are you doing here? You don't have to be on this property, like that, because that would have been my cue to go. But he said, are you okay? That's the only, are you okay? Is there anything you need? And I said, no, I'm just trying to figure out whether I want to go in there or not. And so then he said, you're welcome, please come in. We're just at the small group. I came in, I met Lucille. Lucille ended up being a really good friend. She was a teacher, so we had something in common. And she decided that she would join the gym, because I like to go to the gym. So I had gotten kicked out of one gym. When I just finished up cleaning out my locker at that gym, I cleaned out 108 empty knit balls out of my gym locker. So I got kicked out of that gym. So I'm at a new gym in Swansea. Lucille lives in Fall River. She says, I'll work out with you. And I said, yeah, right. And so then she says, no. I said, I get there at 4:45. She goes, I'll be there. And every day she showed up at 4:45. So she walked in with me and walked out with me. And in between sets, she was telling me all about what God was doing in her life, right? And I started coming here, but I wasn't sure. I still wasn't sure. I was using before I came in because I didn't think I could make it. I didn't think I could fit with you people at all. And I didn't think I could sit through Sabbath school and the service. So like I would use before I came in, I'd come in with my hair soaking wet, out of the shower, and come in with a t-shirt, and I would sit through Sabbath school, which I loved. And then I'd go in the bathroom and I'd use again before I could make it through the next service. And nobody, not one person, came up to me and said, what's wrong with you? Everybody was happy to see me every single time I came in. Everybody greeted me. Everybody included me. Regina said to me, Marilyn, why don't you come to Dorcas with me? She did Dorcas on Wednesdays and Sunday mornings. So I showed up on Wednesdays. She gave me something to do on Wednesday, and I showed up every Sunday morning to spend time with her. I didn't help her out at all. But she would bring me fruits and vegetables from her garden, and I had something to do during the day. And then on Sabbath I would come and I would be hooked into staying. Louie and Terry would tell me, we bought extra food, come sit with us, stay for potluck. You got to stay for potluck, and so then after potluck, Tim would say, let's have a Bible study. And I'd be stuck here all day. And I couldn't, I was. And during that time, I was experiencing nothing but acceptance and love and protection and generosity from every single one of you. Otherwise, I wouldn't have stayed.
Sure.
I wouldn't have stayed. And during that time I was here, I went through 2 different rehabs and 2 arrests. And nobody said to me, where have you been? What happened to you? I saw your name in the paper. Nobody said one thing. Everybody just, every time I came in, for being away for a while, everybody greeted me. Everybody welcomed me. Debbie and Paul had me at their house how many times? For everything, for parties, for cookouts, for swaps, to go hiking. We'd go to Colt State Park. I went with so many people in this church to do things that were positive and uplifting. You showed me what love was. You did not criticize, condemn, judge, find fault in me, nothing. And then when I had to go up to Boston, when I had, somehow, I don't remember how this all happened, but my hip got infected, and I was home on IVs and visiting nurses, and the infection was going away, and I was going back up to Boston. And the doctor told me that if they couldn't get rid of the infection, I would lose my leg. And Rui and a bunch of people got together and called Pastor and called the elders, and you all came to my house and prayed and anointed me with oil on the Sunday before the Wednesday that I had to go up to Boston, where I thought I was going to lose my leg. You all came and I remember I was like, I wasn't expecting to see all of you there, but everyone came. Joey and Irene, Debbie and Paul, Tim and Barbara, Rui and Terry, Pastor and Dora, everybody was here. And my living room was not that big, and it definitely wasn't that clean, and I was wrapped up in a Afghan that I got from Savers.
Rick was surprised too.
Rick was shocked. He was shocked. And you prayed for me, and you were sincere. And Pastor Howard said to me, Mary Lou, whatever your sins are, they've been forgiven, they've been forgiven, they've been forgiven. And I went up to Boston, and my leg did not get amputated. Amen. And that was like a miracle. It's like a miracle. I've seen so many miracles. And when I lost my license for 8 years, Rui picked me up every single Sabbath and brought me to church. He brought me to camp meetings. Everybody showed me nothing but Joey and Irene told me their house was always open. And Abby, who was, for some reason, Abby and I made a connection right off the bat, and to this day we still go out for breakfast once a month. And that girl's as straight as an arrow, so how we get along, I don't know. But honestly, then when Jose and Lang came, and I met them, they wanted to get involved. I remember when I finally decided that I had had enough of everything else, and I wanted God more than I wanted anything. I said I wanted to start a recovery ministry, and I remember talking to Tim, and Tim's first words were, I'll support you whatever you do. I didn't even know Tim was in recovery himself. I didn't even know anything about him. I thought all you people were perfect. All of you. And I was just with the one screw up. But you were being kind to me, and you accepted me, and you loved me back to wholeness. You lifted me back to wellness. And I will never, 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 every time when my mother was dying, and I came on Saturday morning to drop something off, and she was at the hospital and she was dying, and I started crying. I said, Mike, I said, she's going. And Mike hugged me. The first time I did children's story, I was so afraid, I was so nervous, right? And I got up there, I did the story and everything like that, and I'm walking out and saying to myself, I'm never doing this again. I'm never doing this again. And Irene came up to me and said, I liked your children's story. That made all the difference in the world for people to give me constant encouragement. Constant encouragement. And you still show me that love today. Debbie was at the nursery every single day when I was there last summer. I had visitors from every single one of you, visits from everybody, people bring me, and that is love, and there is no way you're going to tell me that it wasn't God's love working in you that taught me what love is all about. Amen. Now I'm only 16 years clean, so that means I'm a teenager, because your mind, your mental development, your social development, everything stops until you start in recovery. So now I'm 16. So know how to handle a teenager, they need a lot of love. I still need your love. I still need your protection. I still need your guidance. I'm still looking for wisdom. And I'm still looking for your support. And this is a family. I can't, and there's one other thing I wanted to say about love too, is that I pray all the time for my family to come to know Jesus. I pray for my husband and my kids all the time. But I got to tell you this, if the love of God wasn't working in that man's life, he would not have stepped with me. He would not have stayed with me. I went through $100,000 in drugs. I got into so many car accidents, it wasn't funny. I had so many arrests. I went to 15 different rehabs. I moved out of the house, and he stayed in that house and took care of my daughter. My son was in college, and he paid my rent for me to stay in another place. I pawned my engagement ring. It was the last thing I had left to pawn to buy drugs. I pawned all the jewelry, everything I had, I pawned. And I pawned the engagement ring. And my last arrest, he showed up in court and got me into a rehab and closed the apartment and brought me back home. And has not left my side, not left my side. So if the love of God wasn't working in him, as much as I prayed for him to come to know Jesus, God's love had to have done that, because there's no way anybody would have stayed with me. No way. So I have been experiencing love from the very time I came into this church. And I'm like the most excited person in the world, because now I know what love is, and I know that these new people coming in need to have the same thing happen to them as you did for me. We need to be bound together. Bound together in prayer, bound together in eating, bound together in playing, bound together in serving, bound together in teaching, bound together in ministering, bound together. Bound together, so there's no room for Satan to get at that person. Yeah. None. And what you did for me, we need to do for everybody else. We need to do this side by side.
Amen.
And I'm so grateful that if I died right now, it'd be okay, because I'm dying free and forgiven. And that's because you all showed me love.
Amen.